know Jesus only performed miracles under one condition?
All right, let's see it.
Yes, they all had to have faith, but that's actually not what I'm talking about.
Jesus does a number of miracles in the complete absence of the faith of anyone around him. In fact, when Jesus calms the storm in the Gospel of Mark, he then turns around and criticizes his disciples for not having faith. So that's not it.
There was one circumstance in every single situation that Jesus performed a miracle in that was present. And you see, from the feeding the 5,000 to the woman at the well, all of these miracles Jesus performed because of one specific circumstance, and it is that person that was encountering Jesus had to be completely hopeless at the end of their rope, needing him to come through. And when you pair hopelessness and end of your rope with big faith, Jesus shows up.
This is even less accurate. There are even more miracles in the New Testament where the people involved are not in any sense whatsoever despondent or at the end of their rope. Not even the feeding of the 5,000, because there's just a question, hey, we got all these people here, we should feed them, how are we going to do that? Nobody is at the end of their rope. Nobody is going to suffer if they don't get bread and fish right now. And we can talk about the first miracle, the turning water into wine at the wedding at Cana in the Gospel of John. Again, nobody's despondent, nobody's at the end of their rope, nobody is going to starve, somebody's just complaining about being out of wine at a party. And there are several other miracles where, for instance, Jesus goes into a synagogue and there's a man there with a withered hand, and the text says absolutely nothing about the demeanor of this man, but Jesus needs to prove a point, so he says, hey, stick out your hand. Boom, it's whole. Nobody is despondent, nobody's at the end of their rope there. When Jesus sees his disciples fishing in John 21, and they're having trouble catching fish, he says, throw it on the other side of the boat, and suddenly there are 153 fish that they catch. They're also not despondent, they're just fishermen having a bad work day. So this is entirely inaccurate. This does not remotely account for all of Jesus's miracles. And the fit for this video is 90s Nickelodeon cartoons.
Let's do a little dogpiling. Because when the boy who was blind, he wasn't at the end of his rope when Jesus healed him. When the man at the pool of Bethesda was lying there, he wasn't at the end of his rope either. Go watch my video I just did earlier today on the pool of Bethesda. The woman at the well, she wasn't at the end of the rope. She knew what time she needed to come out there and, do her thing so that she wouldn't deal with people and their attitudes. Wasn't at the end of her rope, not even a little bit. Even the man who had a legion of demons inside of him, the people weren't at the end of their rope. They solved the issue. They chained his ass up to a rock outside the city. They wasn't bothered with this dude. He out there doing his own thing, screaming and wrenching himself left and right. Wasn't at the end of his rope, nor did the young man call for Jesus and ask for Jesus to come and help him or heal him or anything of the sort. So, wasn't at the end of his rope, nor were the people at the end of their rope. Most of these so-called miracles of Jesus never happened because people were at the end of their rope. There are very few times that actually happened where people were distraught. The woman with the issue of blood was still living her life. She just wanted to get that situation solved. Wasn't necessarily at the end of the rope, but that's maybe the closest you can get to it. Maybe. Or the man who was lowered down into the house from the roof. Those two are maybe the closest you can get to people being at the end of their rope. Because the guy at the pool of Bethesda wasn't at the end of the rope. He just knew that when the water's troubled, he was going to jump in and get healed. But had no one that could help him. And like I said, go back and watch that video that I talked about that. I don't even think that part of the Bible was an original story. It's something that was added later. But I find it interesting when these people who will call themselves pastors would come out, and this is the secondary reason why I was making this video. They'll come out and they'll say these things because what they're trying to gain, and I talked about this actually in my Why Was Jesus Baptized video that I did earlier. This pastor is an example of someone who's trying to grab the disenfranchised in order to build his ministry. Those who feel like the church has let them down, those who feel like they're not getting what they have been taught that they should receive from this Bible. And so when these pastors come out and say, oh, but I have the secret. You see, you have been praying incorrectly. You have been worshiping incorrectly. You haven't let go and let God, as they say. And I'm going to teach you how to let go and let God. And then those people who are walking away from their denomination of Christianity are saying, ooh, this man is going to teach me because I'm not getting what I need from the Catholics or the Protestants or the AME or the whomever, the Baptists, whatever church organization they belong to. And they'll follow this man, and he builds his church and makes his money. And then is glorified to himself, and people will believe it. That's why that man made that video, because he know that the information he just provided is biblical horseshit. So y'all have a great day and tell me what you think. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.